Hey guys, and welcome back to the Chaotic Kitz Channel, where I'm Michelle making fantasies come true one story at a time. And today we're going to be talking about what I did in May, and also talking a little bit about what my game plan is for the month of June. So to start off with, I can't believe it's already coming up to the end of May. It felt like just yesterday the year started, and I'm just like, where did time go? And I feel like I can say this every time I record one of these weekly not weekly vlogs, but wrap up videos, or even in my vlogs, I feel like, how is it already X day, you know? But it's so wild to me, because I'm like, where is time going? It just seems like it's going faster and faster. And I know my uncle, one of my uncles, he always said, like, oh, it only gets faster with age. And I'm like, if it's already going this fast and I'm only 25, going to be 26, I'm like, I don't want to know what it's going to be like when I'm like 80 years old. Now, if I live to be 80, that's going to be impressive. I just say that because I feel like my family dies pretty young. Like my mom, she died at 56. But then again, there are some people who are getting up in the 80-year-olds, so it just depends on the health and stuff. But anyway, so how did this month go? This month has been fairly all right. I've been having some ups and downs with my emotions. Has a lot to deal with the fact that, was it yesterday? No, it was 2 days ago. My mom's 4-year anniversary of her death. I was talking to my sister yesterday because she was having a really rough time, and she was just like, it hurts. And she's also like over an hour and a half away from us. Gas is expensive, so she's just going through her emotions. And she wasn't able to go see mom on Memorial Day. She wasn't able to go see mom on her anniversary, and I don't think she saw her on her birthday either, which was back in March. So I do feel bad for her. Life happens, I do hope one day she will be able to come back and move up here. I know it's kind of far away from her job, and I don't know if there will be any jobs for what she does, because she is a baby nurse, so it'll just depend, and I know she loves that job, but she's not happy, so I don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on with her. Well, I don't know why I talk about her. But I do feel my emotions with her. Yeah. And I will say I've been getting back into praying the rosary more often. I say that even though some days I still don't do it. And I've been trying to do Bible in the Air more frequently. But I haven't really been doing it lately. I feel like the beginning part of this month I was struggling with some depression due to my period and stuff, and took me a little bit to get back. But I did start a new time period, so I'm back into listening to the Old Testament. We're in Book of Samuel, chapter, I think 14 or 15. I can't honestly remember. But this is when we're at the point where King Saul is still in charge, but we're about to get into King David, so that'll be interesting. And I will say, I used to never really know much about the whole Bible, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, my family, I was born and raised Catholic, but elements of, the Catholic faith, listening to the Bible and stuff, we never really did. We never really, the Bible is something that was reserved for religion class, but we never really sat down and really discussed it, because I feel like every time, first of all, I really don't remember much of my childhood, but also I felt whenever it came to time to listen to the Bible and stuff, or get taught how to do the Bible and stuff, or know about how to read the Bible and stuff like that, we never really sat down and actually had a discussion about it, because all of our teachers were people of our community. They would talk with the kids in the class, and they were parents typically of the kids. So we always just went on like tangents, I feel like. And it didn't help that one of my classmates that was in my CCD class or religion class, I always felt like we always had this we always butt heads a lot. And yeah, I feel like he always undermined me, and I was like, at that point, I just shut down and was like, I'm already going through enough with my altars and me discovering them, but I never fully acknowledged them, kind of thing. Yeah, so it was crazy time. It was crazy time back in high school, but I am really enjoying doing the Bible in a year. It just helps me learn more. And as people keep saying, like, the scripture is something that God wants us to listen to. Even though I do feel it's quite repetitive, because like there are always cycles of like pretty much God, like the Israelites being faithful to God, some bad thing happens, or like the time, like they believe in God, then as time goes on, they forget about God, and then they fall into destitution. I think it's the word I'm looking for. But they fall in despair. They need a, like, savior, pretty much, or, like, someone to look up to. Then, there'll be a hero, and then, the cycle pretty much starts all over again. And I do feel like that relates really heavily with just not my everyday life. Oh, kind of my everyday life, because, I go through these spells of, like, being really, really strong in my faith, really believing in God to the fullest of my heart. But then depression hits, or I find something that's, I don't want to say more amusing, but then I feel like I get hooked on, like, a drug, pretty much. Not an actual drug, but, like, just a figment, like just something that I haven't had in such a long time that I'm like, I need to keep consuming it and stuff. And then I fall out of it, and then I come back to it. I come back to it. So I do relate. I'm hoping that I can get over this like cycle I'm in. But I think it's just a lot to deal with. I don't know what it has a lot to deal with, actually. Besides the fact that I keep discovering new altars, like, my life is ever expanding, my inner space is ever expanding, and it's just how things are. Talking about altars, I have been discovering some new ones. I've been having conversations with my therapist, but my therapist and I, we only meet every other week. I can't really afford more. But also I'm like, I feel like I do good with just this every other week. I also journal while I'm like in between times. And then I send the journal to her, so it all works out. Yeah, so I feel like the therapy is going good. And also, on a side tangent, me and my dad have been working on the house recently. We actually have finished all the siding that we are planning on doing this year. I believe, at least, which is really nice. I'm glad that we are done with the siding, especially when we had to get up on scaffolding, because it was just, I hate being, like, climbing up scaffolding, because it's just unstable to me, and I don't like feeling unstable. And also just having the possibility of falling, I'm just not okay with that. But yeah, so far this month has been really good. I am going to take a little break, and I will talk about how writing has been going, and also the books that I've been reading, and just talking about that too. So I'll be right back, okay? Bye. Okay, so right now we're going to talk about reading life. So right now throughout this month, I have been reading several different books. But I did finish 2 books this month. I finished reading The Nocturnals by Tracy Heck. This was a delightful book. It was a middle grade book where the animals ended up playing hockey. It was super delightful. My littles enjoyed listening to it, and I really enjoyed it as well. We also finished a Catholic book called Introduction to Prayer. We no longer have it because we gave it to the church that we borrowed it from. But so we have been reading books. We also have, like, 6 other books we're reading. We're doing reading vlog. We're trying to read these books on Saturdays because typically we try to shoot for Saturdays being our like Sabbath day and not doing any work. Even though we still try to record on Saturdays, like doing reading vlogs. But I've definitely been enjoying doing reading vlogs. I also will say I've learned throughout talking to my alters and stuff that we need to buy more male-orientated books or more masculine books, just because some of my alters are really tired of listening to like happy romance stories and princess talk, so it's just like they would like to have more masculine subjects to it. That's actually why we have the Mistborn, book 1, so Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, that we are wanting to get back to reading. It's just really small font, plus we are already in the middle of some books, so we're like, let's finish these books and not work on this book, so we'll need to do that. But reading-wise, that's gone good. Also, since we're kind of in this, like, entertainment topic, I wanted to talk about the fact that 2 nights ago, I bought Disney Plus. So I usually don't have any streaming services. I did this for like a whole year, I think, of not having any streaming services. But I was watching a lot of clips on YouTube of this one couple that was set up in the like Chinese empire kind of thing. Or China's empire. I don't know what to call it. But it was like this super cute romance with also a lot of quirks. And one of my alters, who's kind of like I've known of her, but she was never really allowed to come out because she's kind of more, I wouldn't say she's more violent, she just has more, I don't know, like slightly darker methods to her madness kind of thing. But she was like, we are buying 6 months worth of Disney Plus, and we are going to watch this anime and watch several other animes / other shows and just enjoy, being able to watch stuff and not always have to like watch the same thing over and over again. And I will say the last 2 days we've been really heavily consumed by this anime. We were watching the Apothecary Diaries, and we learned that on Disney Plus they've only got season 1, and season 2 is on eventually season 2 will get to Disney Plus, but right now it's only on Crunchyroll. Is it called Crunchyroll? I think it's called Crunchyroll. I don't know, but eventually we're going to buy a subscription to Crunchyroll, finish that anime, also watch more animes on there, because we really do like animes. It's just right now, at the end of the month, we can't really afford it. Well, we could afford it. We're just putting a line on how many subscriptions we buy right away. Just because we're like, we need to watch what's on Disney Plus, and then we'll move on, so things like that. But yeah. We bought Disney Plus. We are on like episode 23 or 22 of the Apothecary Diaries, and I would say it's only the girls in the system liking it, but there's also a lot of like nerdy boys in our system that also heavily enjoy watching anime. It doesn't have to be anything in particular, like the romance side, they don't really care about. They just like seeing this like anime cartoon style stuff. Reminds me of our childhood and stuff. But yeah, it was super nice. Though some of us are like, well, let me speak for myself. Though I'm like, we don't need to spend money, but I'm like, we were getting bored of YouTube, so makes sense. But I will say today, we've done a really good job of not watching Disney Plus. This is only speaking at like 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe 10 o'clock. And we did wake up at 8 o'clock, so do I have room to stand? I don't know about that. But yeah, it's been really good. Otherwise, also, I was gonna I don't know when I was gonna bring this up, but we've also started the Total Consecration to the Immaculate. We're needing to do an evening in the life again, or we were originally reading this book in the morning, well, doing the readings in the morning. We just kind of fell off the bandwagon of doing that because of Disney Plus and this anime. So we're just waiting to get back into it today. We'll read it in the evening, but hopefully tomorrow on Saturday we'll get back into doing more non-watching of anime and also just focusing more on other forms of media. So tomorrow we're planning on doing a reading vlog. We might for the reading vlog start the day off with doing this, the Total Consecration to the Immaculate. The reason for this is, again, to keep growing our faith. And the Total Consecration to the Immaculate is a 33-day program. We're on day 5? Yeah, we're on day 5. So that'll be super fun. I've done this program now. This is the 3rd time I'm doing it. I was thinking about inviting my sister to join me on it, but I just didn't do it. And I will say, I don't know what I was going to say with that. But yeah, so far it's been really good. I'm going to take a little break, go into reading and my writing goals, and also probably talk about my my June goals too, because they aren't really much different from my May goals. So I'll be right back, okay? Okay, writing-wise, how did life go? So, writing, we did kind of poorly on. We did write 17,000 words, over 17,000 words, but it was mostly in journaling, and we really wanted to be more heavily focused on writing-wise, even though I'm like, we didn't really do a lot of journaling either. But we were struggling with writing because of the fact that we had 2 new we had 1 altar fuse to make a pen name named Marianne. She is one that's going to be responsible for our picture books about different Catholic saints and angels and all that stuff. And then there is Shelley, who decided she wants to rewrite the Bugstopia books, which are those books up there. She wants to rewrite them completely and make them have a little more Christian element to them. So we are going to need to do a whole journaling session with them to fully discover what they are wanting for their books, and also acknowledging, for at least Shelley, acknowledging, hey, I hope we're not pushing this decision on you kind of thing, because Shelley's books kind of always had, this mafia vibe to them, and we're I don't know if you're planning on getting rid of that or anything, so it's just, communicating with her and being hey, are we pushing our beliefs on you kind of thing? We don't want to do that, so how are we supposed to work with you kind of thing? Yeah, it's just, we're trying to make sure we're all, I personally don't want to force our Catholic beliefs onto Shelley. I know she is Catholic, but her books tended not to be so, I don't know. We're just wanting to make sure we're on the same page. I'm not forcing, she's not, feeling like she's pressured or anything like that. JJ-wise, we did write 3 chapters, even though technically it was pretty much editing 2 of those chapters, and then writing a 3rd. Our goal was to write 5 chapters a month, but that just didn't happen. Life hits us with a ton of bricks with depression. We also got our edits back from our editor for Act 2. We're on chapter 15, and there's 20 chapters in this, 15, there's 15 chapters, there's 20 chapters, we're on chapter 15, so we're getting there. Yeah, it was relatively good for edits-wise, and we're planning on doing 25 minutes worth of writing in each, when we do writing days, it'll be 25 minutes of edits, and then the rest of the time will be in writing, so that's the game plan. Yeah, so writing, it's kind of been okay, kind of not been okay. Granted, we did get 17,000 words, but it was mostly, journaling, I guess, even though, like I said, I don't know if we've really journaled much. I don't know. But for the month of June, we're going to, again, try to write 5 chapters worth of JJ's Act 3 project. We are going to start rewriting, or at least brainstorming, with Shelley and with Marianne, and just reading books, writing, and stuff like that. We also have several religious goals, which is basically a lot of the same things. We do want to try to go to Mass more often. We kind of took a break in the month of May from going to at least a daily Mass, just because our priest was gone. I think that was the reason we decided, but also we were lazy. And then we do want to try to go to a church every day and just sit in front of the Blessed Sacrament or in the church for an hour just to be with God, listen to him, and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of how things are going for us, our goals for July. For June, not July. I don't want it to be July yet. But yeah, that's kind of how things are going. Tell me down in the comments down below how your May went. Tell me some goals that you have for June, even though I keep wanting to say July. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, and I hope you guys will remember to keep making fantasies come true, one story at a time, and I will see you guys next time, okay? Bye!